Hi there, this is Attorney Kelly Hunt with today's informational video. Today's video goes along with my other video of Life Happens, Plan for It. I think that there's a lot of misconceptions out there about life planning, and I really wanted to cover those with you because of how important I feel having a plan for your life is. Now, one of the first things that I hear when I start talking to people about life planning is, Kelly, don't you really mean an estate plan? And honestly, I really don't. When people start thinking the words estate plan, they think, well, that's something my grandparents do, not me. Or that involves planning for death, and I'm not ready to do that yet. And that's one of the reasons why I don't say estate plan, I say life plan. Because of course, death is inevitable. It's something that we're all going to have to deal with. But a lot of things are hopefully going to happen to you before we get to that point. Now, of course, your life plan will include what happens for your ultimate end of life. But we can also plan for what happens at different stages in your life as you move along to that point. And this way, everybody is on the same page, everybody knows what you want, and even you know what you're going to want or what's going to happen at certain stages in your life. So that really kind of does move into the other misconception I have is, I'm way too young to start thinking about that. I don't even have anything yet. But now is the perfect time to start doing it. Because as you get a plan now, all you have to do is change it or update it down the road. As you start moving on in life, things will get more expensive. Things will get busier. You're going to have a lot of things happen, and it may not be in the forefront of your mind. As you get a plan in place now, let's say that you get married or you have a partner, you just add them onto your will or add them or update your attorney in fact. Maybe you have children. Okay, so we're just going to update everything again. Maybe you have an illness. Maybe something else happens. Again, all we have to do is update it. But the fact that you have it in place in the first place means that that's all you have to do. So it's much cheaper to just update as you go on throughout your life than get to a point where, oops, I need it and it's too late, or, hey, now I want to sit down and actually do this. So the sooner that you start with it makes it so that you've got a living document to move on through you with life, and also helps that people know what you want to happen in different stages of your life. So another thing that I hear a lot from people is it's expensive. I don't really have the money or want to spend the money now for it. My counter to that is, again, one, it's cheaper and easier if you do it now because then you have to update it, but the expense, if you don't plan it for now, is going to be greater because you're going to be hit with a bunch of things all at once. If you don't have a plan in place, you could be facing court action, or your families can be facing court action. There is inflation. For example, if you get a funeral plan in place now, you can get on a payment plan and have it paid off well before your ultimate demise may happen. This saves your family or friends or who's ever taking care of your estate from having to spend several thousands of dollars to handle that for you when you do pass away or something happens to you. So actually getting even a basic plan in place now saves you money and helps you with being able to allocate expenses in that regard. Trust me, it is expensive when things happen to you. You want to make sure you have a plan in place for it. Now, another thing that I hear about is, well, whenever you hear plan, they're going to order me a trust. They're going to tell me that I have to get a trust to put all my stuff in. And I just really don't think I need for a trust. Honestly, most people don't. The idea of a trust has been a very solid way of planning an estate or planning for your life, but it doesn't mean that it's for everyone. So what we usually do is we sit down, we look at what you have, where you're going in life, and we say, okay, for right now, you know what? You don't need a trust. You need to put beneficiaries on your bank accounts. You need to do a transfer on death title on your car. Maybe you do own a house. Let's look at a transfer on death deed. And let's do a will just in case something isn't covered. So as you move on in life, we can add things. We can add a trust if you end up needing it. We can add an advance directive if you end up needing it. It doesn't mean that where you're at now requires all those things to put in place. It just requires, let's look at where you're at now and let's figure out how to take care of what you do have now with the idea that we may change it down the road. Another kind of odd thing that I usually hear is, well, if I plan for it, it's going to happen. If I plan for the bad event, it's going to happen. Not necessarily the case, but if it does happen, you do want to have a plan for it. But I acknowledge it's part of looking at your own mortality, or really looking at where you're at in life and what you have and you don't have. And yes, that can be difficult, but it's good to have that knowledge. It's good to have an idea on, okay, this is what I do have, and this is how I want it taken care of. Now, finally, the last one I'm going to cover is, well, if something happens to me, my family will take care of it. And yes, your family or your friends will try to help take care of it. But, as I say in my other video, please keep in mind that death is one of the most difficult things that people will go through. Injury is one of the most difficult things people will go through. Family events can be. So what this means is you're expecting those who you want to take care of you to make good, solid decisions at a point in time where they may be going through some very real things. Maybe they're struggling with, someone who have gone through an accident, or also going through an illness, maybe a bankruptcy, maybe it is death. And you have to account for in there that they are going through this as well and along with you. And it's stressful. It's tough. People generally have a hard time making good, solid decisions when these things are going on, and that's a lot to put on people. So the more that you have a plan in place saying, okay, well, you know what, if this happens, this is the direction we want to go on. If this happens, these are the decisions that I want made for me. The more you have that, it saves those individuals in your lives who you want to be taking care for you and supporting you as you are going through these things, to allow to remain in that supportive role. It's easier for everyone. It's a much, much better way of making sure that everyone knows what you want, and also your plans for how things are going to go. And it helps to save your loved ones all those headaches and hardships at the point in time where the plan has to come into play. So if you would like to sit down with us and figure out how to plan for every stage of your life, not just your death, give us a call. We will look at what you have. We will personalize your plan to your life. You're not just going to be a number with us. So give us a call at 918-382-9200.